All right, so we are going to spend some time going over the syllabus for our Bio 160 Human Biology class. This file is available to you right by this video link on the Canvas website. So make sure that you download it so that you can have a copy and so that you can go through it as we're going through things here. So first of all, at the top here, we have our Bio 160 Human Biology. Here we are for the fall 2019 semester, and this is our online course. There's my name, Brandis Hubbard. My email is bahubbard@st4.edu, so you can reach me through my email at bahubbard@st4.edu. However, I do prefer that you email me through Canvas, and we're going to talk about Canvas in a moment, but when you email me through Canvas, it keeps all of that connected to you and me within the Canvas website, so that if we need to go back and take a look at different emails and see what has been sent or what hasn't been sent, then we can go in and I can just click on your name, or you can click on my name, and then we can see what the back and forth is, so it doesn't kind of get lost in regular email. So please do try to email me through Canvas, and I'll show you in the Canvas video, you can see how to email somebody in Canvas. But if you happen to not be able to access Canvas, there's my email, so bahubbard@st4.edu. My office location is in the CEM building, which is the Clara E. McKenzie building, room 206, the second floor. Also online via email, Skype, and Remind. So I am available online. This is an online class, so I do have online or virtual office hours, but then I also am available online, throughout the day and the night, for you to email me and text me, and we can have Skype conversations. We can set up a time to do that if you want to do that, if you feel like you need to do that. So I'm available. Please don't hesitate to contact me. My conference hours are online on Tuesdays from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. So I will be available to respond to any email or any text message or any communication on Tuesdays from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. However, so because I have online courses, I have to have online office hours, but that doesn't mean you have to contact me during those times. Online. Like I said, I'm available, throughout the day, throughout the night, and then I will get back to you as soon as possible. It doesn't have to be within those hours. However, I am on campus if you want to visit me during my office hours on campus on Wednesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. So if you did want to talk specifically on campus in person, I'll be there on Wednesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Otherwise, you can text me. We can set up a time to Skype. That's why I say additional times by appointment. So if you can't come to campus, but you do want to have a face-to-face conversation, we can do that via Skype or via Facebook Messenger or via Remind. And we can go through these different options and find out what works best for you if you'd like to do that. So I've mentioned the Remind app. That's where this is our next line here, is the Remind app for texting me. So the Remind app is a free app. You can see here, if you click on this, you can be taken to the Remind website at remind.com. Also, you can click, or you can go to your app store, so on iPhone or Android. And you can do this for your phone, you can do it on a tablet, you can do it on the computer through the website. So if you download the Remind app, which is a free app, this allows us to communicate via text message, but I don't get your information and you don't have my information. So it's texting, and it'll go through your messenger on your phone. So we can communicate, and we can do quick communications back and forth. This is the best way to get a hold of me, is through texting. We can send photos or screenshots to each other so that we can communicate more clearly. So this is a really good way to contact me. And again, this would be just like in your regular messenger. You do first have to download the Remind app. So make sure that you download the Remind app first. There's also a link on Canvas to this. Download the Remind app. Once you do that, if you're doing it on your phone, then all you have to do is go to your regular messenger, and then for the telephone number that you want to send a message to, you put in this 81010 or 1010, sorry, 81010. And then in the actual text message subject, you want to put @ and then the BIO and then 16019. So once you put in the telephone number as this 81010 and the actual message as @bio16019, and then you send that, it automatically enrolls you in that class on the Remind app. What this does then is that then you can go into the Remind app. You're already going to be in the class. This allows you to text me through the Remind app and through your regular messenger. Once you text me through the Remind app one time, it'll set up like a fake phone number for me. And then you can constantly go into that messenger and then send text messages that way. Or you can go through the Remind app, whichever is easier for you. So this allows us to contact each other whenever is easiest or fastest and most available is through the Remind app. Then there is my office phone number / voicemail. And the reason I say voicemail is because I'm not in my office very often. I'm either teaching or I'm off campus. If you do want to leave a voicemail, you can do that. There's my phone number there. And I will get that, and I can call you back if you need to. But again, getting a hold of me, the easiest is through the Remind app, through texting me or through email. I do also have my Skype here, just in case we end up wanting to do a Skype phone call, if that's easier for you. And then also I have the Facebook group here. I've created a Facebook group for our class this semester. And my intention with this is if you have Facebook and you want to join the group, that I will be posting reminders. I'll be posting, I plan to upload some videos and things like that to the Facebook group for you to access. That might be a quick access, because I know many people have notifications pop up on Facebook, and so I feel like this is a way that we can communicate more quickly rather than you having to go to Canvas and look up announcements and see updates and see videos that are posted. This is not required. If you don't have Facebook, don't worry about it. If you don't want Facebook, don't like to use Facebook, you don't have to do this. I will still be posting these updates and videos and things on Canvas. So if you don't want to do it, do not have to do it. But if you do want to, feel free to join the group, and then we can communicate in Facebook, and then I can post these updates and post videos on Facebook. And then you may get them faster if you're more inclined to go to Facebook than you are to go to Canvas. Contacting me, so I've already mentioned that text via the Remind app or email is the best way to get in touch with me outside of my class hours and conference hours. You can text me using the Remind app on your smartphone or email me via Canvas. So again, remember, I'd rather you go into Canvas and email me through that so that it can just kind of save everything in one package and we can just open it up if we ever need to. I do check my phone several times a day, and I usually respond within 24 hours, except maybe weekends, if I'm out of town kind of thing. But I do get back relatively quickly. So that is a quick way to get a hold of me. Our class time and location. So our location is online, and then these are the dates that we have class. We're here August 19th, which is the Monday, all the way up through December 13th. Our course website. So this is an online course. Our course website is on Canvas. This is where I'm going to be posting all of the lecture materials, the lab materials, assignments, and other optional material. So keep in mind that some of these assignments do require these things here. So Java, Flash Player, PowerPoint, Adobe Reader, some other site plugins. So information on the specific system requirements that you need for your computer for the course, as well as links to some of these plugins like Java and Flash Player, are all located at SC4. So you can go to online at the SC4 webpage. There's a link here as well. And you can download these plugins to make sure that you have access to these types of things when I have them posted. And if you don't want to do that ahead of time, that's fine. But when you get to a lab, for example, where if you click on something and it says you don't have Java or Flash Player, you can always go to this website and make sure that you download that. If you do have any difficulty accessing web pages or some of the activities throughout the semester, you can always contact IT. So here is their phone number here. So you can call them and contact them and ask them any questions that you have. You can also contact them via email at helpdesk at sc4.edu. So you can always contact them, you can give them a call, and they can walk you through things. And they're really good about doing that. If you have any problems with anything, do contact them. They're there, they're available to be able to help out with anything. We will be turning in-class assignments through Canvas also. I do have a separate video going over the Canvas course and how to submit assignments, so make sure if you haven't watched that already that you do watch that so that you are clear on how to do those things and feel comfortable with that. There are computers in the library if you don't have a computer, or if you don't have internet access at home, or you don't have the ability to download some of these plugins, for example. There are computers at the library that have access to all of these things. So if you need to, feel free, please do go to the library and they can help you there as well. We will be using Canvas and email frequently in this class, so it's important that you check our Canvas course and your SC4 email, also within Canvas, regularly to do well. So I recommend checking in on Canvas and your SC4 email every single day. Because if you check in every day, then you're not going to miss some sort of update. Maybe sometimes links get broken in the labs and I have to find out other ways to access those websites, and then I'll post those as updates. I'll post them in the Facebook group that I'll have, but then also they'll be accessed on Canvas, and I'll have those types of things, so that when you get to something, if you find a broken link, rather than getting frustrated, if you check online on Canvas, oftentimes I will have posted the fixed link or whatever the case is. If I haven't, then in the course introduction video, I talk about how you can let me know that those things are a problem so that I can fix them and then post them and make sure that everybody has access. So it's important that you access the class regularly in order to do well in this course. If you do have difficulty activating or accessing Canvas or your email account, please do contact the IT help desk. So they get lots of phone calls at the beginning of the semester trying to make sure that people can access their email, access their Canvas courses, and they can walk you through doing all of that. So just as a side here, your student email is your username at student.sc4.edu, and the password is the same as your portal password. So whatever password you use for that is going to be the same for the Canvas course. For the course, we do not have any required textbooks. I prefer to keep the classes as inexpensive as possible. I don't want there to be additional expense on top of the course, so I opt for free and open source materials. However, I know that some people do like to have textbooks that they can, highlight or underline or have in front of them in order to use. So I do have 2 optional textbooks listed here. The first one is the Essentials of Anatomy and Physiology. That one is the one that's most closely aligned with what we'll be going through in the class and kind of the detail that we'll be going through. This is a free text that's provided by SC4, so we have a license for it. You can go to this link here, and then you can just use your username to sign in with your password, and then you can download chunks of that text. You can only download a certain amount at a time, but you can access it entirely online for as long as you want. So that is available. Keep in mind, I do not reference the text at all in this course. So I don't know the page numbers. I don't have that text linked in any way to our course. This is, again, just if you prefer to have some sort of textbook to go along with things. I also put here the other optional, the OpenStax Anatomy and Physiology. This is also a free text. So you can go here and then you can print that out for free, or download it as a PDF, or just access it through the website. This text, however, is in more detail than we will be going in the class. However, I find that is helpful for if you get to a part where you're a little bit confused on a concept or the way things work, that if you want more detail than I have provided in the class, then you can go to this text and you can maybe find that detail there. Or, of course, you can always ask questions. So, again, no textbook whatsoever will I ever reference. These are just some options for you if you happen to want to use a textbook. Our course description. This course is designed as a survey, emphasizing the basic concepts and principles of human anatomy and physiology, to give you background to carry out basic healthcare duties. So this is for our practical nursing programs, but it's also applicable to other allied health programs. The prerequisites are listed there, or an ACT score. The credit hours, it's 4 credits total, 5 contact hours. So even though this is an online course, it's separated into about 3 hours of lecture, or 3 credits or contact hours of lecture, and 2 of laboratory. So we'll have more work in the lecture area than we do with laboratory. But if we're thinking about it in the fifths of the class, about 3/5 is lecture and 2/5 is laboratory work. There are course objectives. I don't need to read those to you, but this is what you should accomplish by the end of the course. Then we have our general education objectives. This is for every course at SC4. So we have our general education, where every single course that you take at SC4 should meet these objectives. So our general education competencies. So I have designed different learning activities in order to meet these objectives. So our quantitative reasoning, civic responsibility, information literacy, and communication. So these are things that you need to have mastered by the time you've taken courses here at SC4 or throughout your course taking here. Disability support services. So if you have a disability that interferes with your ability to succeed in class, please do contact the Achievement Center. So I have it listed where they're located on campus. Here's their telephone number as well as their email. So if you feel like you need some assistance, whether it be, with hearing, with visual, with learning disabilities, dyslexia, whatever the case may be, if you feel like there's anything at all that might interfere with your ability to do well in this course, please do contact them. They're great people. They do great things. They're very kind. Everything is on a confidential basis, and they can get accommodations for you if that ends up being the case. So they will take a look at, what you're bringing to them, maybe have you take a couple of little questionnaires, talk about the situation, and then it's possible that you will be awarded specific accommodations like extra time on test taking or have a note taker or things like that. It's your responsibility to make these arrangements, however, in a timely manner, meaning if we get to exam 1 and you take exam 1 and you don't do very well, and then you go into the Achievement Center and say, well, it's because I have a learning disability, that doesn't change your score from the exam that you took. That would be something that we could accommodate moving forward in the semester, but it wouldn't be anything previous to that. So make sure that if you do feel like that's the case, that you do go see them as early in the semester as possible so that we can make sure to have those accommodations in class for you. Also note that the lecture videos do have closed captioning available because they're on YouTube. So if you do have hearing impairments, that should help with that. All right, our student code of conduct. So please do see the SC4 General Student Code of Conduct on the portal. There's a link here. You should be and are required to be aware of that and abide by that in order to take courses at the college here. So please do go through and read those things there. And I just kind of point out in the second note here that work you submit must be your own. So academic dishonesty is very, very important. This is especially important to keep in mind as you're taking an online course, because I know in online courses we have a tendency to be, reading things on the web, and then we could just easily copy and paste something, and then that's not your work. Copying and pasting something or copying answers directly from any of my study guides, any of my exams, any of my quizzes, any lectures that are posted or videos that are posted, if you copy something down word for word or even remove just a single word out of the sentence and leave the rest the same, this is considered cheating. It's academic dishonesty. So you cannot copy anything from other students, from textbooks, websites, anywhere else that's not your own work, meaning from your own brain in your own words. And I know that sometimes this can be a little bit difficult when you're writing something down, like a definition, for example. However, you need to keep in mind that as you're reading these different things, what I suggest that you do so you don't end up copying is read things, read your notes, listen to the lectures, read whatever you're going to read on the internet to help you understand different concepts, and then close all of those things, put them away, and then write it up in your own words. If you don't do that, then you will receive a 0 on that item. So the very first time you copy and paste anything of any kind, if it's another student's work, if it is copying and pasting from one of my study guides that I provide, anything at all like that, it will result in a 0 for the assignment. So not even just for that one answer, the entire assignment is going to have a 0 on it. And then I'll let you know that the reason you have a 0 is because you copy and pasted something or you did some sort of plagiarism. The second time that happens, so if you copy and paste something again, or seems to be word for word from a website or text or something like that, then I will report that to the college. It will be reported, it will be permanent, so as long as you're at ST4, that will come up under your name behind the scenes as it's related to academic dishonesty. And you will also receive a 0 on that item. So again, not just that one answer, but the entire item. So if you plagiarize something on an exam, that entire exam will have a 0. And you could incur further academic repercussions. So once it's reported to the college, there is an academic dishonesty group that comes together. They look at the offense, and then they can decide what to do regarding that offense. And that could mean failure of the course. It could mean not being able to take course at SC4 again. It depends on the offense, and it depends on what the Academic Dishonesty Board chooses to do. 0 that's earned by cheating can't be dropped, can't be replaced, can't be made up. So once it's done, and then you get that 0, and then we move forward from that. So if you have any questions regarding plagiarism, if you have any questions regarding whether or not something is cheating, please do post it on our Canvas website or email me specifically if you have a specific question you don't feel like you want to open it up to the entire class to answer or comment on. And then I can certainly get back to you on that. I want to make sure that that's very, very clear for everybody, because I don't want you to accidentally get yourself caught up in that situation. Okay. All right, so student resources, you're going to need to spend time outside of, quote, class, meaning the time that you're actually watching lectures and taking notes on them, on both the lecture and the lab material. So I have listed here some of the things that can maybe help you outside of just watching the lectures. There's free tutoring at the Achievement Center. There are Canvas links that I post, so additional Canvas links that have tutorials and images and self-tests and things. There's also a biology learning resources collection at the library that you can use outside of class time. Sometimes I can provide some extra lab time. This actually shouldn't be in there. That's kind of something related to the in-person course. Conference hours are available for me to help you, so I can help you individually. You can come to me during my conference hours, message me during my conference hours, or of course just text me or email me anytime. But please contact me, okay? Don't wait until halfway through the semester and then you're not doing well and then maybe it's too late to try to get the score that you want to get. Talk to me right away. And then, of course, email me or text me anytime with any questions, and I will be available. What should you do if you're struggling in the class? Please come and talk to me. It doesn't have to be in person. It can be through email. It can be through text. Talk to me. Maybe we can work out something. Maybe we can figure out where the problem is, and we can do something to help with that. Okay. So I will do everything I can to try to make sure that you succeed in this course. Everything I can do to help you. So please do let me know, and so that I can do what I can. Tips for studying. The key to memory and recall is exposure. So exposing yourself to something over and over and over again is what is going to solidify that in your brain. So I do have some things here listed. I'm not going to go through that. You can read that. But please do take a look at that so that you can use these different types of things, these different tips, to make sure that this stuff stays stuck in your head so that you can get this information in there. Because it is important, right? Because if you are taking this for an allied health field, these are things that you need to know. This is a required course for those degrees and those certificates. And so it's important that you know this information because you'll be utilizing it outside of the classroom in the real world as you're doing your work. So it's important to fully understand this material so that you have that at your disposal while you're in the field. I also have some tips for exam taking, so go ahead and take a look at that. If you're not feeling good about exam, send me an email, go talk to a tutor, do something to try to make yourself feel better about exams, okay? I also mentioned in the second bullet point, when you're taking an exam, answer all the questions you know first. So the exam will be available to you, all of the questions, all at one time. I recommend that you go through and you answer everything that you can just immediately answer. You know this one, you know this one, you know this one. If you can't answer it within about 30 seconds, skip it and then go to the next one. And then after you go through and you answer all the questions you know, then go back to the ones that you were unsure of and answer those. And then once you do that, see if you run out of time, then you know that you got in the ones that you already knew. And then perhaps if you do run out of time, the only ones that aren't answered are the ones that you were unsure of. So just make sure you go in and answer all the things you know first, then go back to those that you're not entirely sure of. All right, so how do we run this course here? So the course approach. First of all, if we're talking about the federal definition of the course, according to the federal definition of a credit hour, students are expected to spend 2 hours outside of class for every hour you spend in class, and I have that in quotes because we're online, but for every hour they spend in class at a minimum. So this class, if it were on campus, it's a 4-credit course, it would be considered 2-hour and 15-minute periods. So if we were on campus, that would be 4.5 hours per week in a typical 16-week semester. At 2 hours of study time for each hour that we would be in class, that means that one would be expected to spend 9 hours outside of class on studying materials. So going over the materials, studying for exams, studying for quizzes, doing lab work, doing homework, all of this stuff outside of class. Since this is an online class, the quote in-class time would be included in that total. So if we're talking about the 9 hours plus the 4.5 hours, that means that you should expect to spend at least 13.5 hours per week on this course. I say this because I have to meet this federal definition in order to say that this course is what it is, so that when you are finished with this course and you have passed this course, if you go back and the federal government comes in and says, did this course meet the criteria for being a course? We can say, yes, it did, and here's how we can show that. So please plan your schedules accordingly. So it will take at least 13.5 hours for this. Make sure that you schedule that. It could be more some weeks, it could be less some weeks, it could be more every week. So it just depends on how you work and how you study and all of those things. But please do keep in mind that this is a strenuous course and plan your schedule accordingly. I do encourage you to study in groups. So even though it's online, you can certainly meet up with your classmates outside of online, or you can even do it virtually. So if I do encourage that, because then you can work together. And again, it's exposure, going over these things over and over again. Free tutoring is also available again at the Achievement Center. There's their information. And then I mentioned the biology learning resources again. All right, so let's get to our grading. So our grades are based on the points that are earned from lecture notes, homework assignments, quizzes, lab assignments, and exams. So those are the different things, the 5 different types of assignments that you will get graded on. Each of these items will be present in each of the units of the class, and then the grades will be posted on Canvas throughout the semester. All work is due on the date that is shown, on the due date shown, by 11:59 p.m. So if I say a certain date, then that means that it's due that day by 11:59 p.m. So, basically midnight that night. With the exception of exam 5 and the end of semester quiz, so the 2 last kind of exam quizzes, those are not due on Sundays. Everything else is due on a Sunday. So the due dates are Sunday of every week. So plan in your schedule. Know that every single Sunday of the semester, you have something due by 11:59 p.m. Exam 5 and the end of semester quiz are due by Friday, December 13th. And that's because the last day of the semester is that Friday rather than that Sunday. So that week is cut short a little bit. So please do keep that in mind. Every Sunday by 11:59 p.m. something's due, and then at the end of the semester it's by that Friday. And I'll remind you at the end of the semester when it's due. So there will be no late work accepted. I do not accept any late work whatsoever, with the exception of perhaps, like a hospitalization that has a doctor's note, things like that. But no late work is accepted. I do have something to try to help with that if, life comes up. We'll talk about that in a moment. So let's talk about these different items that you will be graded on. The first one are your lecture notes. So each week you will watch lecture videos that I will have posted, YouTube videos on that topic. Then you will be taking notes on the videos as you're watching them, and then you will submit those notes digitally through Canvas. So this is so that I know that you're watching these videos. Otherwise, I have no idea who's watching the videos or not. So this is a way to be held responsible for doing the lecture portion. So if we were in class, normally you would be in class taking notes and listening to the lecture. What you're doing is you're doing this online. And in order for me to know that you are there listening to the lecture is by providing your notes. So they need to be comprehensive, so covering all of the material. They also need to be legible. I have to be able to read them to know that it's covering all of the material. Lecture notes must be turned in as a Word document, so a .doc, .docx, or a PDF, so .pdf. They cannot be a pages, a .pages. They cannot be images, so no .html, no .jpeg, no .png, not images. They must be all compiled into a Word document or a PDF. So I go through how to do this on the introduction to the course through the Canvas video. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. So lecture notes, you'll be taking notes on the videos throughout the week. Those will be due. Each subunit's lecture notes are worth 10 points for a total of 140 points for lecture notes. So basically we have 14 units. And each one of those units, we have 10 points worth of lecture notes. The second one is our homework assignments. There are weekly homework assignments based on the material that's covered in the lecture videos, as well as other critical thinking questions. So these questions are designed to make you think about the material. So think about it in maybe a different way that wasn't presented exactly in the lectures. So I recommend that you watch the lectures, take notes on the lectures, kind of go through that material in your mind, then go to the homework assignment for that week, and then do the homework assignment. The homework assignment questions are not going to align exactly with the lecture, and that's on purpose so that you can think about these things in a little bit more detail, in a little bit of a different way, kind of get into some of the specifics of the topic to make you think about them and solidify them more. So they're designed to present it differently. And while you're doing this, it's a homework assignment, so you can use the internet, you can research different reputable resources so that you can find the correct answer. So feel free to go out there and use things like pubmed.org to look up research articles to answer these questions. You can use other different websites or other YouTube videos to answer these questions. These activities are done individually, so on your own, without assistance from other students unless otherwise indicated, okay? Homework assignments are completed through Canvas, so you will access the homework assignment and then they are multiple choice questions that will pop up. So one will pop up at a time, so that'll pop up. You'll answer that question and submit it. That's the only time that you can see that question and answer that question. Once you've answered it, it goes away. You've already submitted that question. So it's not like quizzes and it's not like exams. One question will pop up at a time. You'll answer that question and then submit it. The reason for this is because you can start answering these questions, and then if you don't have time to finish the homework assignment at that time, you can leave and then you can come back and you can pick up where you left off and answer the next question and keep working on it. So it's not like you have it open, you have to answer everything at one time and then submit it. So you submit each question at a time. That's what I mean by this last piece. You only have one opportunity to answer each of the questions and then turn in that homework assignment. Each subunit's homework is worth 10 points for a total of 140 points from homework. Then we have our lab assignments. So part of the course is laboratory again. So these assignments include hands-on activities to assist in your understanding of the topic. So this is going to relate to that subunit each week. These things include interactive websites that you have to have those plugins for, but then other things as well. So maybe doing some drawings that you have to submit, some labeling that you have to submit. So it's up to you to be prepared with the appropriate technology to complete the assignment and turn it in on time. I will not give you extra time due to technical issues. You have a whole week, sometimes more, to complete an assignment, so you should start them as soon as it's available to you. At least open it up, take a look at it so you know what you're getting into for that week. So if you are the type that likes to do more hands-on stuff, more writing with your hands, I suggest that you print out the lab and complete it by filling it out, drawing, labeling, coloring, all of those things with your hands and pen and pencil or pencils or whatever it might be. And then you can take photos of that and submit that, just like you'll submit your lecture notes. If you are proficient on the computer and you can label things on the computer that comes through to me correctly, then feel free to do that. If you can color on the computer in an appropriate way, if that's what that assignment requires, then feel free to do that. So if you are proficient with the computer and you can do all these things on the computer, feel free to do that. If it's easier for you to print it out and then submit it after taking photos and compiling it into a Word document, please do that. Whatever is easiest for you. Each subunit is going to have a lab assignment, also worth 10 points, so 140 points for each for lab assignments total. Then we have quizzes. So we have practice quizzes. They're provided each week, and they'll assist in your understanding the material from lecture videos and will help prepare you for the exam. Quizzes, again, are taken digitally through Canvas. They can be taken multiple times, and your highest score is going to be the score you end up with for the quiz. So you can take it dozens and dozens of times so that you can go through and practice over and over and over and over again on these questions. Whichever score is your highest is what will be submitted at the end of the week. Each subunit's quizzes are going to be worth 20 points for a total of 280 points for quizzes. Then we have the exams. So there are 5 regular exams, one at the end of each unit, and then the format for this is going to include multiple choice, matching, labeling, short answer, and essay questions. So the exam is also taken digitally through Canvas. There are no makeup exams. Any missed exams are recorded as 0 points. So make sure you know your due dates. Make sure you know exactly what is due. Some weeks we have exams due as well as a section or as well as a subunit. So make sure you know when your exams are due and make sure you have appropriate time available for you to take that exam. Due to the cumulative nature of the material, exams may contain questions related to previous sections as well. So each exam is worth 100 points, totaling 500 for exam points through the semester. So 5 exams at 100 points each. I did put a note in here. Of course, you should know this, but noted, exams must be completed without using your notes, books, online sources, other people, or any other material whatsoever. Meaning, the only thing you should use to access answers for the exam is your brain. In your own words, from your brain and your understanding. When you are taking an exam, please be sure that your exam screen is the only app or web page open on your device during your exam. Do not leave your exam or your app or that tab or screen during your exam. This is considered cheating. So you will get a 0 on the exam if you do this. And I can see if you do this because I am able to see if and when or for how long a student leaves an exam page. So if you go away from the exam page, I can see how long you have it open at each question. I can see if you go to another tab. I can see if you go to another app. I can see if you leave the screen. So if this happens, if you have left the exam page during your exam, your score will be decreased according to the severity of the offenses. May also result in a grade of an E in the course, so not passing, and a report will be filed with the college. So if you do this on an exam and I see that you have done this, then I will report it to the college. If you have any questions about this, please do email me. Ask me any question regarding this so that you feel prepared that you won't fall into this category, okay? Then lastly, we have the end of semester quiz. So there is a required cumulative end of semester quiz. So this quiz is going to cover material from the entire semester, that's why it's cumulative, and it's also worth 100 points of your final grade. So it is like, the reason it's called an end of semester quiz rather than a final exam is because it's like the other quizzes, meaning that it's taken digitally through Canvas and you can take it many, many times as you want to in order to get your highest score. So this is a way for me to hold you accountable for the entire semester so that you're not just studying for that exam and then studying for the next exam and kind of getting rid of all that material. By the end of the course, you need to have all of this information in your brain to move forward. So the end of semester quiz is designed to do that. So it's cumulative and it's worth 100 points and it's required. But you can take it over and over again in order to get the highest score possible so that you can get the highest score on that and then therefore get the highest score that you want for the course overall. So then our summary, final grades are determined by the percentage of points you earn out of the total number of possible points throughout the semester. Grades will not be curved, and I don't intend to offer extra credit, so commit yourself to striving for excellence in this class throughout the semester. I do not curve grades. I do not offer extra credit, with one small exception that you have already seen or will see in the intro to course video, which is the My Mistakes discussion board. But there hopefully are not that many mistakes in the course, so that's not a whole lot of extra credit. So make sure that you are putting your best foot forward in every assignment, starting from the very beginning and throughout the semester. Our free passes. So I did mention there's absolutely no late assignments. So I will not be accepting any late assignments with, again, the exception of some sort of serious situation brought to my attention as soon as possible, and then I'll evaluate it. So, for example, an elongated hospitalization that has a doctor's note, something like that we can talk about. In lieu of accepting late assignments, I'm providing 2 free passes for the semester. So what this means is that if you have some sort of technical difficulty in these first couple weeks or after, that if you aren't able to get something in because of some sort of technical difficulty, then you can use a free pass. If you accidentally turn in the wrong document or the wrong assignment, or if you just simply did not complete the assignment, you will not be penalized for missing them for 2 assignments. This does not include any exam or the end of semester quiz. So what we're talking about here are lecture notes, or we're talking about lab assignments, we're talking about homework assignments, or quizzes with the exception of the end of semester quiz. So in order to use a free pass, you must email me with the intention to use a free pass within a week of the assignment due date. So it doesn't have to be ahead of time. It can be after the fact, after you don't get it turned in, for example, or after I say this isn't the right assignment, or after you realize that you have technical difficulties and you don't get stuff in on time. You need to email me. I will not assume that if you miss an assignment that you're using a free pass. So if you don't contact me to let me know, then that will be a 0. So free passes can be used at any time throughout the semester. In order to use a free pass, here is what you need to do here. So always come back to the syllabus to make sure that you send me the correct information to use a free pass. So again, you must email me within a week of the due date for the assignment you intend to use it on. So either a week before or a week after, so some time within there. The email must include your full name, so first and last name, to make sure that I have the correct student, and the class you are in. So I have free passes for all of my classes. So if you just say like, can I have a free pass for last night's assignment? That's not going to work for me. I won't know what class you're in. I won't know what last night's assignment you're talking about. So this needs to be very clear. If you want to use a free pass, you have to email me your first and last name in the email, the class you're in, so Bio 160, what assignment it is, so use the posted assignment name. Again, not like the lecture notes from last night. You need to say the skeletal system lecture notes or the skeletal system lab assignment. Whatever it's called, that is what you're going to be using. So I know exactly what it is you want to use the free pass for. Okay? So again, if you have some sort of technical difficulty or you try to turn it in at 11:58 and it just doesn't upload before 11:59, then you can use a free pass. Or if you're just really busy and you just didn't get 2 assignments done that week, you can use both that week. You can use one now, one later. However you want to do it, if you accidentally turn something in wrong, whatever it is. So even if you do turn something in and I grade it within that week and you have a low score, then you can say you'd like to use a free pass on that. But it has to be within the week, and I'm not able to promise that I will get things graded within the week after. So say you submit it on Sunday and I haven't graded it by that Thursday or so, and you're like, you know what, that wasn't my best work. Then you need to send me an email saying I'd like to use a free pass on that. So even if you did turn it in and you just feel like it just wasn't that good, then go ahead and use a free pass. But it's up to you to use the free passes when you want to use them. All right, and if you have any questions about that, I suggest you post it on the Canvas discussion board, because then everybody might have that same question and I can answer that question there. Okay? All right, so all assignments will be graded as soon as possible after the due date. Some weeks for me are busier than other weeks, so some weeks it'll be right away because I will have that time available right when you submit them. Sometimes it won't be until a week later or a little bit after that. So, but I will get to them as soon as possible. Corrections will be written on the assignment itself and or in the comments section of the assignment on Canvas, and it just depends on the feedback required. You're responsible for keeping track of your scores and confirming that they are correct. So as soon as things are graded, I want you to take a look at it and make sure that that's correct. If you have any questions, you need to ask me. So you're encouraged to check your score after each exam, make sure it's graded correctly, go through your questions, make sure that they're correct. Any disagreements with any of your scores must be brought to my attention within 1 week of the scores being posted. So I post a score for you, I've graded your paper, you go in, or your lab or whatever, you go in and you say, this doesn't quite make sense. She said -1 here, but in the score it has -3 or something. You need to email that to me within a week. After that time, scores won't be adjusted. Meaning, if we get to the end of the semester and you're like, oh no, I'm not quite getting the grade that I want, I will not go back to things in the first week, second week, anything that's not just within 1 week to go back and adjust scores. So you can't go back to the beginning of the semester and start going through all of your assignments at that time to where I then have to go through all of your assignments at that time. It has to be within a week. Check your scores regularly. Okay, and then tell me if there's any discrepancies. It happens sometimes. I'm human. I make mistakes. Bring it to my attention. Send me an email, and I'll take a look at it. Okay. So here's our course points breakdown. So here's the type of assignment. So again, we have lecture notes each week, homework assignments each week, lab assignments each week, quizzes each week, and then we have our unit exams, and then our end of semester quiz. So the points for each of these, the number of them that we will have, and then the total points associated with that number. So total points for the class is 1,300. Again, on Canvas, I'm going to have this all written out for you throughout the entire semester. I'll be submitting scores each week, and then you'll have this as a running total. These are the scores here, so the percentage related to a specific grade. This is our scale. So on Canvas, it will show you your percentage, but it will also show you the grade letter, so you'll always know where you're at in the class. And then down here, lastly, we have our schedule. So again, this is a reminder, all work is due on the due date that's shown by 11:59 p.m. There will be no late work accepted. Remember, you've got those free passes. This is our tentative schedule. So here we are, we're starting at the beginning of the week here, our weeks 1 through 15, and then finals week. And then our units, and then these are the different topics that will be covered. So these are our subunit topics. So our first week is our course overview, so going through all this information like our syllabus, going through the course, kind of figuring out how it all works, as well as our introduction to the human body. So our first week, our subunit topic is introduction to the human body. All of the stuff associated with that, so the lecture notes, the homework assignment, the lab, and the quizzes, all of those things are due by Sunday, August 25th at 11:59 p.m. Then, once you have submitted those things, now we're on week 2, which is chemistry. Then for chemistry, you have, lecture notes, homework assignment, laboratory assignment, quiz. All of that's due September 1st at 11:59 p.m. and on week by week. Note that some weeks you have a topic due, which includes all of those things again, lecture notes, homework assignment, lab, quiz, and you also have exam 1 due. All of that by September 8th. So the subunit and the exam. So make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to complete the subunit stuff at the beginning of the week, for example, and then complete the exam by Sunday. I do note on our schedule here that the integumentary system, for example, is a relatively short system. There's not a whole lot there. And so I do recommend that you start the skeletal system this week. So it'll be available to you. I do recommend that you turn in the integumentary system stuff early that week and then start working on the skeletal system. However, the integumentary system stuff is not due until that Sunday, September 15th at 11:59 p.m. And then the skeletal system will be due the following week. But I do recommend the skeletal system's a lot more work, integumentary system's not. So I put this in parentheses here just so that you know that ahead of time. Notice that we also do muscular system for 2 weeks. So it says start the muscular system this week and nothing is due that Sunday. I don't recommend that you put it off. It's a whole lot of work. That's why I gave you 2 weeks to do it. So then we have the muscular system here and exam 2 is due then the following week. Again, if you go down here, the endocrine system is also a very short system. So then I highly recommend starting the cardiovascular system and that'll be available to you. So I kind of try to give you those little tips so that you can go in, that Sunday night or Monday, take a look at what's available, what you need to complete, and then you get a jump start on the following week because the cardiovascular system, for example, is very detailed and very in-depth. I don't have any of that due this week on October 20th. It's all due the next week, but I really recommend that you work ahead past the endocrine system and don't put it off for later. And then we move through the rest of the systems. And then at the end, this week, remember, is December 13th, which is a Friday, not a Sunday. I'll remind you as we get to the end of the semester. This week is exam 5, which is like the other exams. You have 1 shot to do it and a certain specific time frame you have to complete it in. And the end of semester quiz. And the end of semester quiz is something you can take over and over again. Before you can take the end of semester quiz, however, you have to take exam 5. I recommend that you take exam 5 at the beginning of the week and then take the end of semester quiz, throughout the rest of the week. Of course, that's up to you and your schedule, but you should keep these things in mind as you see what's due each week. And that is the end of our syllabus. So if you have any questions on any of these things, please do not hesitate to contact me. I feel like it is a good thing for you to post it on the discussion board, because then other students may have that same question. Maybe I didn't go over something very clear or very well. So if you post on the discussion board, then I can answer that question there and everybody sees it. I also think it's good to post on the discussion board if you have any questions, because then other students can kind of chime in and say, well, this is my understanding, especially if I don't get to that discussion board immediately. You might get an immediate answer from another student versus if it takes me until that night or something to answer that question. So utilize the discussion boards for questions, or if you prefer to, you can always email me or text me, again, at any time. So it doesn't matter what time it is, email me, text me, I will get to it as soon as possible. So even if you text me at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll get to that text as soon as possible and get right back to you. Okay, so I am available to you. Just please do contact me so that you don't go into something confused and feel like you can't really reach out, because I'm available all the time. And then also don't forget about that Facebook group. I'll scroll back up to the top here. And the Facebook group, again, I'll be doing updates and reminders and things. So if a student does reach out to me and say, hey, this link didn't work, and I take a look at it, the link didn't work, and I can find a new link, I can post it there and you'll have it immediately, so that when you are working through the semester, you'll have those things available to you. So please do contact me, and I look forward to a great semester with you all.